rare and balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense, and logic, providing context on today's events. This is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Perspective. I am your host, Rick. So, Rumble, Restream and Rumble finally got together. That's the best way I can put it. Restream is the software or the service that I use to multi-stream to X, Facebook, YouTube, and also to Rumble all together. And Restream created a new connection with Rumble, and I inadvertently, I'm trying to test it, is what I'm doing. And unfortunately, it didn't quite work out the way that I wanted. So if you see another live stream with the title 522 and it has the Rumble logo behind mine, then yeah, that's not the stream. Anyway, I'm working with Restream to try and get it all figured out, because the one thing that I like to do for you Rumblers especially is to open up the stream early so you guys get a chance to sit there and, chat amongst yourselves. Now, tonight that didn't quite work out because not everybody jumped in like they normally do. My news, I think, showed up probably like 5 minutes to 5 minute countdown time. So anyway, and with the Restream setup, apparently it doesn't allow you to do that. So I may not use the Restream integration just yet, because obviously it's brand new and they still got some kinks to work out. So anyway, so there you go. And no, that is not the ending and new beginning. I wish that was the case, but it's not. All right. Let's go ahead and let me just say this. You will probably see, maybe, hopefully, I'm hoping, you probably see some new faces in the chat on Rumble. I have extended a invitation to the Battle Crew, Sean Parnell's Battle Crew. That's off of his podcast, because of what I'm about to tell you after I get done with my opening stuff. So if you see some new people, welcome them in, give them a good old Whiskey Warrior hello, and make them feel welcome, because they may end up deciding to camp in our camp for a little while for it. Like I said, I'll explain a little bit more here in just a minute. First of all, let's go ahead and have Buddy Weiser, the wise and venerable Buddy Weiser from over on Rumble, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you are of mind, please stand, remove your hat if you're wearing one, place your hand over your heart, and join in with Buddy Weiser in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I hereby pledge my allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which she stands, one nation under one God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all her citizens. So help me God.
And I thank you for that, Buddy, for that wonderful rendition of the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would like to hear your rendition of the Pledge of Allegiance played here on the program, all you need to do is record yourself performing the pledge in your style. And, of course, take that, whether it's a video or an audio or whatever, it doesn't matter. I'll figure out how to get the audio out of it. And send it on into fans, FANS, at AmericanPerspective.online. That's fans, FANS, at AmericanPerspective.online. All right, and tonight's headliner promo is, of course, the Institute on the Constitution. The Institute on the Constitution was established in 2004 as a 501c3 nonprofit with one singular mission, and that is to restore the constitutional republic through grassroots education. All courses and materials are developed using primary source documents and taught from the American view of law and government, as defined in the Declaration of Independence in the following 3 key points. 1, there is a God. 2, our rights come from him. And 3, the purpose of civil government is to secure and protect our God-given rights. The IOTC offers the opportunity to educate yourself on our most precious founding document, the Constitution of the United States. They also provide tools to educate your community and get involved with local government. Start by taking their free U.S. Constitution course and go from there. Use my affiliate link, our IOTC.AmericanPerspective.online to sign up, and while you are there, take a moment to look through their other course material and information. My affiliate link, once again, is IOTC.AmericanPerspective.online to get great content to learn about our historical founding and support the show in the process. That's IOTC.AmericanPerspective.online. Or if you just want to purchase this fabulous Saddleback leather-bound U.S. Constitution to support the show, go to constitution.americanperspective.online. Take a look at this thing. It is 1/8 of an inch of Saddleback leather wrapped around pages that are water and tear resistant. No cheap glue here, folks. Stitched all the way through the leather to bind the papers inside. It's got a 100-year warranty against materials and workmanship defects, such that if you have a problem, you can send it back to the manufacturer and they will either fix it or replace it for free. It is buddy tested, buddy approved, Billy tasted, Billy approved, and my youngest whiskey warrior has confirmed that the information inside will help you study for your civics badge in scouting. Probably will help you with that civics test as well. Go to constitution.americanperspective.online to get yours today. And also, don't forget to check out the rest of the information that the IOTC has available on their website. And I thank them for allowing me to be an affiliate of theirs. All right. So let me get right into it. The biggest news, of course, comes from, it comes from the Denver Gazette, but the biggest news comes from Donald Trump. Donald Trump names Joe Kent. Joe Kent, for those of you who do not recall, comes from my home state of Washington. He is a fantastic individual, but both of these individuals are warriors. They have served our country honorably. And Trump has named Joe Kent as the NCTC chief. And of course, Battleground Live's Sean Parnell as the Pentagon spokesman. And so Joe Kent is the director of the National Counterterrorism Center, and Sean Parnell is the lead spokesman for the Pentagon. He was named to that position, or announced, I should say, to that position on Monday. Well, as the title of the show says, an ending and a new beginning. Unfortunately, because of Sean's new position, he's not sure if he can carry on with Battleground Live. He has to, of course, check out the legality of the situation. He has to kind of see whether or not he's going to actually have the time to be able to do it. He is planning on updating everybody through his locals account, which is at Sean Parnell USA, I believe, on locals. But the thing about it is that during his short and brief announcement today in his broadcast, he thanked all of the battle crew, which is what he calls his fans. And of course, toward the end of that, when he signed off for what will be a hiatus at this point, because he is being deployed to DC for a much higher purpose at the moment, I offered to allow the battle crew and the members of the battle crew, of which, keep in mind, there are some whiskey warriors that are also battle crew members, but I offered to allow the battle crew to come and camp here because I stream 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, from 5 p.m. Pacific to 6 p.m. Pacific. That'll be 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern time. But also I stream on Saturday from 6 p.m. Pacific to about 7:30 Pacific, which would be 9 p.m. to about 10:30 Eastern time. And you are more than welcome, Battle Crew, to come on over and hang with the Whiskey Warriors. And even if you want to, you can decide to become a Whiskey Warrior. You don't have to be, one or the other. Okay. So I encourage you, if you are a Battle Crew member, announce yourself in the chat, say hello. And we definitely will welcome the additions to the Whiskey Warrior clan. If you're, again, just keep in mind, you're welcome to camp out for as long as is necessary until the Battle Crew comes back. I'd love to see you stay, but I understand you have your loyalties. I have my loyalties too. So it makes sense. And I already see Glow is in the chat right now from the Battle Crew. So welcome, Glow. Thank you for coming in and stopping by and giving this show an opportunity to earn your respect, let's say. All right. So that is a fantastic thing for Sean. I wish him and his family all the best. Can't wait to see him behind the podium and, talking to the press as the Pentagon spokesman for it. And just congratulations to him. That is just fantastic. I know that he will serve America well in that position. All right. So, just on to a little bit of news here. I love Tom Homan. I really do. He and Trump and, well, I mean, pretty much anybody, honestly, that Trump has picked so far for this go round in the White House has been fantastic at the moment. But Tom Homan, the bulldog, he looks like a bulldog to me, an English bulldog, and it's fantastic. But anyway, he and apparently New Jersey Governor Murphy kind of have this little rivalry going on, I guess you could say, between them. And I mean, come on, let's be serious. It's not really all that friendly. But here in Woke Spy, you can see border czar Tom Homan will seek prosecution after New Jersey Governor Murphy admitted harboring an illegal alien. So here's essentially what happened. Governor Murphy was talking to a left-wing organization called Blue Wave New Jersey. And he confessed on there. He said, Tammy and I were talking about, and I don't want to go into too much detail, but there's someone on our broader or in our broader universe whose immigration status is not yet at the point that they are trying to get it to. And we said, you know what? Let's have her live at our house above our garage, and good luck to the feds coming in to try and get her. Now, if you recall, Homan has been on multiple television outlets and has basically made it clear that, hey, if you're harboring these fugitives from justice, which is what they are, we're probably going to arrest you because that is a federal crime. Now, keep in mind, crossing the border is a civil penalty, but a federal crime is something totally different. And so these people are harboring illegal aliens, which is a federal crime under Title 8 of U.S. Code 1324. So anyway, here's Tom Homan. Let's just listen to his, and by the way, he was there with Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth at the border on this, but let's go ahead and listen in his words.
Let me read a headline to you. Chicago leaders encourage residents to exercise their rights in resisting Trump's deportation policies. The governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy, basically admitted that he knew somebody that didn't have full documentation, that he was hiding over his garage.
But there's someone in our broader universe whose immigration status is not yet at the point that they are trying to get it to. And we said, you know what, let's have her live at our house above our garage. And good luck to the feds coming in to try to get her.
Your comment on all of that?
Well, I think the governor's pretty foolish saying what he said, because I got note of it, won't let it go, we'll look into it. And if he's knowingly harboring, concealing an illegal alien, that's a violation of Title 8 United States Code 1324. I would seek prosecution, or the secretary would seek prosecution. So maybe he's bluffing. If he's not, we'll deal with that. And as far as suing sanctuary cities, well, get in line, because the Trump administration is going to do that already. Sanctuary cities are sanctuaries for criminals. There's one example, right? If the young sanctuary cities in New York City, if they would have gave us over the killer of Laken Riley when he got arrested in New York City for endangering a child, he would have been in jail, and he would never killed Laken Riley. Sanctuary cities are responsible for deaths of thousands of young children throughout my career, and we're going to sue them. We're going to hold them. And look, if he's got to go to the Supreme Court, that's what President Trump wanted to do. He will end sanctuary cities.
You know, there was a 2011 Government Accountability Office study found 3 million criminal.
So there you go. Again, Tom Homan laying the smackdown. Yeah, I just love this guy. He is the perfect person for this position. So yeah, good luck with that. Now, you also have Denver Mayor Mike Johnston, who quickly retracted his statement that he said that he was willing to go to jail fighting for fighting against Trump's deportations. And Homan said, me and the Denver mayor agree on one thing. He's willing to go to jail, and I'm willing to put him into jail. Oh, my gosh. I love this guy. I really, really do. But if Governor Murphy is bluffing, he may be doing it for a political stunt, to try and like bolster his image and appearance to seem like he is, this tough guy that's standing up for the little guy or whatever. You know how the Democrats usually look and think about this stuff. But anyway, it's probably not going to, it's probably not gonna pan out very well for him, if he's standing on the edge. Well, here's Tom Homan on ABC News really quick, and let's just play him.
One of the very first appointments Donald Trump made after winning the election in November was tapping one man to be what he calls his border czar. Tom Homan is a former Border Patrol agent and acting director of ICE with decades of experience in Republican and Democratic administrations. I sat down with him this week and began our conversation by asking him about the role of the U.S. military.
We got military on the border, not only helping us with departure flights on military planes, but they're helping to build infrastructure. They're putting up Constantino wire. They're down there to create a secure border and lock that border down. And DOD's helped administrations before, but not at this level. So it's a force multiplier, and it's sending a strong signal to the world. Our border's closed.
So is this what we will see every single day, ending in what the president has promised is millions and millions being deported?
Yes. But you're going to see the numbers steadily increase, the number of arrests nationwide as we open up the aperture. Right now it's concentrating public safety threats, national security threats. That's a smaller population. So we're going to do this on priority base, as President Trump's promised, but as that aperture opens, there'll be more arrests nationwide.
When you talk about the aperture opening, the estimates of perhaps those who have been convicted or arrested in the past, 700,000 to over 1 million. So after you do that, then you go after everybody who is there illegally.
If you're in the country illegally, you're on the table, because it's not okay to violate laws of this country. You got to remember, every time you enter this country illegally, you violated a crime under Title 8 United States Code 1325. It's a crime. So if you're in the country illegally, you got a problem. And that's why I'm hoping those who are in the country illegally who have not been ordered removed by the federal judge should leave.
While you are emphasizing that you go after national security threats, you have said no one's off the table. If you're in the country illegally, you better be looking over your shoulder. You should be afraid and start packing now.
Oh, so yeah, he is not fooling around here, people. He's not fooling around, and I like it. I like it. For that. That would be, like I said, he's a great individual. Perfect fit for this particular post, just like Sean Parnell is, just like Joe Kent is. They're all perfect fits. And so far, everything seems to be working out. Now, I am hearing or seeing a headline coming in from, of course, Buddy Weiser. And he says the Senate confirms Pam Bondi as Attorney General. Oh, yes, that would be fantastic for them to do. Now, keep in mind, too, I also, and this just leads right into a set of announcements that I was going to make. RFK Jr. clears a major hurdle before full Senate vote. He gets out of committee. Senator Bill Cassidy was his final vote to get him out. And of course the committee vote fell right along party lines, 14-13. And that of course sets up the final vote before the full chamber. Also too, we have as well, Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard has come out of committee as well. And she gets advanced to the full Senate vote for Director of National Intelligence. And that was another very close vote, 9-8. So yeah. So there you go. They've made it out of committee, and they're probably on their way, of course, to be confirmed. Also, too, remember, don't forget on Monday, that was yesterday, key moderate Senator Susan Collins announced that she will vote in support of Gabbard. So that's at least one thing there. So there you go. These are, yeah, they've all been, I mean, both of these folks, actually, even Pam Bondi has been, run through the gauntlet, let's say, to get into this. But eventually, I think that we're going to end up with them as promised to get into their position where Trump wants them. So there we go. That's how we should do this. All right. So you remember a couple episodes ago, I was talking about this essentially giving people who don't want to work in this administration time off of their own accord. They could basically say that they quit, they retire, whatever, and they would continue to be paid all the way up into September. Well, apparently a large number, more than 20,000 federal workers have now taken that offer, that buyout offer. And they're actually expecting a surge. Now, keep in mind, the deadline to decide is February 6th. That's just 2 days away, counting today, but today's pretty much over on the East Coast. So there's essentially only 1 day away over there. So nobody knows, of course, this is in the Epoch Times, nobody knows how many employees will ultimately accept Trump's terms for leaving the government. However, as of right now, the count is more than 20,000 workers that have accepted, and officials are expecting many more before the deadline. The official told the Epoch Times, on background, I can tell you that the 20,000 number isn't correct. The number of deferred resignations is rapidly growing. We're expecting the largest spike to come 24 to 48 hours before the deadline. The official was responding to a report that was put out by Axios, there's roughly 2.3 million civilian federal workers, the vast majority of whom are in the career service, which enjoys multiple regulatory protections. But under the current system, more than 18 months on the average are required to terminate such a worker, but the actual time involved can easily stretch to significantly longer. The average federal employee salary is $106,382, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistic data. As analyzed by Pew Research Center, the median average household income for all Americans is, of course, $75,149, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. So if 10% of this workforce would accept the buyout offer, it would cut spending by more than $24 billion. $24 billion. Yeah. And that's according to the Office of Personnel Management, which handles all of this. The government turnover rate is 6 to 8% in a typical year, mainly because of retirements. So, obviously, Trump's offer is part of his promised initiative to reduce the size and cost of federal government, an effort that was assigned to the DOGE advisory body headed by billionaire Elon Musk. So, yeah. So, again, just to let you know, the buyout offer is these people are basically going to receive full pay and benefits coverage for the next 8 months. And exempts them from any newly issued orders returning to work at their official duty stations on a daily basis, protects them from any reduction in force processes that are expected to begin in the near future in many federal departments and agencies. So these people are basically taking the quick way out the door. And honestly, if you were a leftist, let's just put it this way, if you were like a hardcore leftist thinking that you could make changes or stand up to Trump's desires, this may be the way to go. You get paid up until September, which, by the way, like I told you on the episode where we discussed this, the reason why Trump picked this, September is because that's when the new budget comes into play. These people have already been paid for, which of course the left was thinking that he was going to have to, go to Congress and get appropriations and all of these kinds of things for this entire situation. But no, they've already been appropriated. The money was already there. Okay. The money was already there. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, speaking of Doge and its moves, Doge, of course, took aim at the USAID. And no, that isn't USAID. That's the U.S. Agency of International Development. Okay. Now, it's a political organization, of course. And originally it was set up, as I discussed last night, it was originally set up with the idea of overseeing all of the money that was going to be flowing from our taxpayer dollars to initiatives across the globe for various things, mostly humanitarian efforts. And let's just say it's been warped since it was put into place or spoken into existence by John F. Kennedy in 1961. In response to the bill, the federal bill that was put out. But there's a gentleman by the name of Matt Palumbo. Now, Matt Palumbo does a lot of articles and is, editor-in-chief, but I can't think of the magazine right off the top of my head. But Matt also writes articles for the Dan Bongino's newsletter and his site. And so this came out, and I took a look at this, and I'm like, okay, well, now I'm starting to understand why all the Democrats are arguing and fighting, scratching and clawing, trying to keep the USAID in business. George Soros' fingerprints are all over USAID. Now, keep in mind, this is according to Matt Palumbo. Now, Matt Palumbo did write a book about this entire thing. But as you can see here, he kind of walks through and talks about some of the things that the USAID and George Soros's foundations have been doing through this, okay? And yeah, so this is not a good thing. This is not a good thing. So the Soros Foundation's management training program, called SFMTP, received and signed a cooperative agreement from the USAID in November 1993, I should say. In the first quarter, the SFMTP staff in each of the 5 countries began open advertisement to professionals for the training available. Now, the thing about it is that the program was designed to train 30 professionals from Poland, Bulgaria, Romania, Estonia, and Slovakia in reportedly public administration, business, telecommunications, environmental management, and more. Except there's only one problem. According to the goals of the Soros Foundation, all of the goals were met from the USAID. But Soros's people have been pushing out things like, for an example, a translated Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals in other places. And this was identified by a movement called Stop Operation Soros. Also, too, during the Obama years, the USAID was used to promote abroad policies that remain controversial within American society itself and have and serve no clear national security interests, which is what the USAID was supposed to oversee money that flowed to the U.S. State Department in order to increase national security, national interests across the globe. Yeah. Also, too, other early activities from Soros's involvement with USAID include his International Renaissance Foundation partnering with them to support Ukraine's Orange Revolution. So, in other words, Soros was in conjunction with the USAID working to overthrow Ukraine's government. Yeah. Now, Soros reportedly has also invested more in Ukraine than any other European country. So, yeah, let's just say that this is probably not the idea and the purpose of USAID. So apparently, USAID was also sued by Judicial Watch in connection to $5 million in funds that they say went into the hands of the Soros Foundation in Macedonia. So from 2012 to 2016, about $5 million was spent in Macedonia, training hundreds of young Macedonians on topics such as freedom of association, youth politics, civic activism, persuasive argumentation, and new media. So Judicial Watch basically thought and thinks that there has been interference in internal politics in Macedonia that could be included in the violation of what's called the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations. Yeah. So, now that same allegation, by the way, basically from Soros's actions and his Open Societies Foundation's work, But apparently this is just recurring over and over and over. In 2016, USAID was reported to have allocated $9 million to support left-wing activists in Albania in a project overseen by Soros's funded East-West Management Institute, which is a group that's run by the ex-wife of current socialist Prime Minister Edi Rama. And that's, you know, Alex Soros regularly posts photos of them together. Yeah. Right. So, yeah. Let's just say there's a lot of questionable activities that is going on within the USAID. And therefore, you can also understand why this person is a little upset. And for those of you who are on the audio portion of the program, I am talking about Ilhan Omar. So Ilhan Omar, she, was outside the USAID headquarters offices when it was closed. You know, those wonderful Democrat senators and representatives like Raskin tried to get in. And yeah, it's just, yeah. So she ended up having a wild meltdown, apparently, on it. And so let's go ahead and take a quick listen to her when she's talking about the USAID being shut down.
It is really, really a sad day in America. We are witnessing a constitutional crisis. We talked about Trump wanting to be a dictator on day one, and here we are. This is what the beginning of dictatorship looks like. When you gut the Constitution and you install yourself as the sole power, that is how dictators are made. What Trump and Elon and all of their cronies are trying to do is take away the constitutional power of Congress. We get to decide. We have the power of the purse. We get to decide where money is allocated, and it's the executive's power to make sure that that money gets to where it needs to get. When we talk about civil servants being let go, what we are talking about is not saving money. It's essentially saying they can get paid while they're home and their work doesn't get done on behalf of the American people. It is us, taxpayers.
Okay, so wait a minute. I got to interrupt her. First of all, she is correct, okay? The Constitution does give the power of the purse to Congress. However, there is a problem here. And in particular, she's kind of referring to the Trump buyouts, which again, that was already allocated funds. It's not like we're magically asking for more, or Trump is magically asking for more. Second of all, in terms of the USAID, that organization, like I said last night, was created by an executive order that was prompted because of the Foreign Act, the Foreign Aid Act that of 1961, or Foreign Assistance Act of 1961 is the correct terminology. But the thing about it is that the act itself, and I showed this to you last night, doesn't specify what organization. It basically just says that an agency should head up to coordinate all of this under the auspices and the guide of the Secretary of State. So what that does is that basically places this agency directly in the executive branch's purview, and therefore is able to go ahead and get rid of it if necessary. Now, she's talking about how Congress makes the laws. The executive branch executes those laws and makes sure they get done. makes sure that they get done. And she's sitting here trying to say Congress is the one with the power of the purse. I don't recall her getting overly excited over Joe Biden canceling a crap ton of student loans unconstitutionally, because as the point she's trying to make here, Congress is the one that has the power of the purse. So, yeah. Anyway, a lot of these Democrats, they don't read the Constitution, and they don't even understand that, by the way, foreign aid, I challenge anybody to grab the Constitution and show me where within Article 1, Section 8, those items that Congress is supposed to legislate on, where in any of all that there is a entry of where it says we have to give away money to foreign entities for humanitarian purposes. I would love to have somebody tell me where within that is the case. And it's not just Ilhan Omar. As you can see within the photograph here, Jamie Raskin's back there. He's another snake in the grass and a Democrat moron. Yeah. And so, and they keep trying to blame Elon Musk. This is the part that I think is really funny, is they sit there and they blame Elon Musk. They say Elon Musk shouldn't have this. Elon Musk shouldn't have that. I don't recall Elon Musk ever getting elected. So he's doing all of this at the pleasure of the elected President Donald Trump. So, yeah, you guys keep complaining. Go ahead. Keep complaining about all of this stuff, because I'm telling you right now, it's not going to go anywhere. It really isn't. The executive branch has full purview to do all of this. So, yeah. Basically, what ended up happening, and the reason why they were there, is 600 employees were locked out overnight. They were locked out of the system as Musk and the Doge team gained access to the agency's files. And Musk basically said that we spent the weekend feeding USAID into the wood chipper. Could have gone to some great parties. Did that instead. And then, of course, over the weekend, Musk tweeted out or posted, I guess, on X that he's like, USAID is a criminal organization. It's time for it to die. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. And obviously they found all kinds of documents and everything else that was in there, from all of that. So, yeah, I don't think I've seen Democrats pissed more since yesterday, honestly. And of course, they're also freaking out too, a little more, because of the fact that the DOJ has now announced that they are looking for information on FBI employees who investigated January 6th. An FBI spokesman said the FBI will work within the law and policy to respond to official requests for information from the Department of. The DOJ has asked for names of thousands of employees who worked on the investigations into January 6th and the breach at the U.S. Capitol. Acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove, in a January 31 missive to acting FBI Director Brian Driscoll, directed the FBI to provide the names of all Bureau personnel who were investigated the January 6th breach and an unrelated terrorism case. And this is where the Senate Democrats wrote this in a February 3rd letter. Also, too, as well, the FBI agents, by the way, that were involved in Mar-a-Lago, that whole Mar-a-Lago docs case, the one that they stuffed top secret cover sheets to make it look like, and then took the pictures to make it look like there was classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. There was that very famous photo that came out with all of those, and as a part of Jack Smith's defunct case in DC, it came out that the FBI actually brought those and staged those photos. Do you remember all that? Well, anyway, the FBI agents that were involved in that have been removed and escorted from their offices, according to the Daily Fetched. The entire squads of FBI agents were removed from New York, Miami, and Washington, D.C. field offices following the Trump appointment of Driscoll to lead the agency in the interim. Meanwhile, as Trump's pick for FBI Director Kash Patel undergoes the confirmation process, questions remain about whether or not Driscoll is going to stay in his position until Patel is confirmed. You know, given the fact that he's done this, I would guess that, yeah, he's probably gonna, keep him. Anyway, so acting Deputy Attorney General Emo Bove, that's another one who should stay there, ordered Driscoll to compile a list of FBI agents who have been involved at any time in January 6th investigations to determine whether further personnel actions were necessary. So, yeah, they are starting to clean house. And, yeah, so, yep. They are working on it. They are working on getting rid of these people as quickly as possible. And frankly, it can't happen fast enough, I'm telling you. You know, I mean, the whole thing that was a complete disaster with the whole Mar-a-Lago case. I mean, seriously. They didn't bother necessarily to coordinate with the Secret Service. They went in there with the idea, with the orders on the freaking warrant that was supposed to be shoot to kill, even though they claim that was essentially a form error, because that was usually what they put on there. Yeah, no. They went through Melania's underwear drawer, looking for quote unquote classified documents, when the classified documents, after a previous visit to Mar-a-Lago just months earlier, had been put behind a door with an additional lock on it, because the FBI apparently doesn't bother to write any of that crap down. But they told the Secret Service that they had to have a lock on the door. And so the Secret Service obliged them and put all of the documents behind the door. But no, they have to go and take a look at freaking Melania's underwear drawer. I mean, really, seriously, this is ridiculous. And they went there, by the way, under what's known as a general warrant. So, yeah. Again, the FBI, horrible setup with these organizations. So frankly, I mean, I'm kind of glad that they're all gone. So yeah. And Nana of JJS points out that part of it was that they also went through Barron's room. Yeah. Yep. But anyway. So, yeah. This is just, oh, you know what's funny about this? I mean, it's not funny as in haha, funny as in ironic, just funny. The left seems to forget about all of this kind of stuff. And especially some of the leftists that are out there like, oh, Morning Joe? Yeah, well, take a listen to this little tidbit with this.
That we're focusing on right now, and that is the purge that's going on right now inside the FBI, and the possibility of Kash Patel, who has promised purges, certainly not in his hearings, but before that, with the media and with other people of the so-called deep state. What you worked in 2 administrations. You've had to deal with some extraordinarily difficult situations regarding national security before. I am curious, for somebody that has all the experience that you have, what is the impact of an administration conducting a purge inside a law enforcement organization and focusing inward instead of looking outward at the threats from Al-Qaeda, ISIS, China, Russia, Iran, all of our enemies?
Yeah. Look, I mean, this is not a pop quiz, Joe, question, because we actually have a test case of this. Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu will be in the Oval Office tomorrow, and he tried exactly this strategy of going after the Justice Department in Israel, going after the Shin Bet, the FBI equivalent, and it ended up with October 7th, the worst killing of Jews since the Holocaust and World War II.
Wait. He's actually blaming October 7th on politics within the Israeli government. Oh my gosh, how delusional can these people be? Folks, October 7th, just to remind you, October 7th was the deadly day that the Hamas terrorists came out of Gaza and attacked the Israelis for no reason. These guys are, oh my gosh. And by the way, that attack wouldn't have happened if it weren't for the fact that Joe Biden handed over some $6 billion to the Iranians because Hamas is an Iranian proxy terror group. Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis, all three get money from the Iranians. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe this guy even said this on air. But then again, this is MSNBC. I mean, you know, or MSLSD if you listen to Mark Levin much. But yeah, it just, oh my God, I can't even believe he went there. He did. He went there. I mean, I could back it up, but I'm not going to. That is just absolutely disgusting that he even said that. Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, not only is the FBI having some issues, not only is the USAID having issues, not only is the illegal number of people here in this country having issues, we now have heard of a new target. This target is also an unconstitutional organization or department that doesn't fall into that Article 1, Section 8, and therefore Amendment number 10 comes into play. Longtime Whiskey Warriors know I love that amendment almost as much as I love the rest of them. But that one is definitely underused. Now, we hear from some folks that dozens of Department of Education workers have been put on leave following a Trump order. Now, keep in mind, this isn't the closure of the Department of Education yet. Now, there is a executive order that is reportedly being prepared to go ahead and do that. But this has to deal with the ending of DEI programs that Trump put together in his executive order. The head of the American Federation of Government Employees, Local 252, said at least 55 employees have been impacted so far. So they were put on leave. These Department of Ed workers were put on leave in what appears to be a response to Trump's order banning DEI programs in the federal government, according to the labor union. Sharia Smith, president of the union, Local 252, said that it appears a common factor among these put on leave is that most of them have taken some sort of a voluntary diversity training course that was offered by the Department of Education. Now, The majority of employees placed on leave do not work in DEI initiatives, and they span all branches of the agency, she said. But hundreds of employees have taken the training, but it's still unclear as to whether or not all of those were placed on leave as well. She said many of the people were under the impression the training was strongly encouraged or required. Gee, you think? I mean, with the previous administration, you would think that these people would be like, that they're forced to do this. Of course. Hello. But anyway, so the union has also confirmed statements Smith made that the education department officials who were put on leave to multiple media outlets through news releases issued via its website. So the union has also confirmed all of these. So, speaking to NBC News in an interview, Smith said that at least 55 employees in the agency received the letter and that those officials will, for the time being, receive government benefits and full pay. Smith said, it looks like they're entrapping people because they encouraged people to take these trainings and are now maybe using these trainings as a basis to put them on administrative leave, she told the outlet. Yeah, I'm sure there's more than that. But anyway, so the Department of Education is now the next one, it appears, on the chopping block. We'll have to watch that carefully in the near future and in the following days over that one. All right, folks, that is about it for me for this evening. Now, tomorrow night is Whiskey Wednesday. For those of you who have been around Whiskey Warrior P1s, I do pull out a bottle of whiskey. I do drink a little bit on the show. And the show is also an hour and a half long. That and Saturday are the 2 hour and a half long shows. The long format is what I call them. So make sure, if you are from Battleground Live, please, you are more than welcome to come back here again. Okay. Just remember, it's Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern is when I start. Wednesday, I do an hour and a half show. Other than that, everything else, I end about an hour ahead. And then, of course, Saturday is 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time, right here on American Perspective. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, head on over to rumble.com, get yourself an account. It is free. And once you are signed up and signed in, make sure that you hit that green follow button to get notified every time I go live. All right, folks, like I said, we will see you tomorrow. Welcome to all the battle crew that showed up and anybody else. We will see you tomorrow night. Have a great rest of your evening, and good night, everybody.
The previous broadcast was produced and is owned by Active Eye Media, LLC. All rights reserved.